Now, I didn't plan on doing this one, but last week when I did the Twin Verb one, I had people asking me if I could do like a Bassman. Now, the Bassman Fender amp is a very glassy, loud amp. So I was like, I don't know if I could dial in something like that, but maybe I can get like a blues-driven Fender style amp with enough reverb and play with the Parametric EQ to make it sound like it. And I think I came pretty close. If not Bassman, then maybe Blues Juniorish. Either way, it's a very ballsy sounding tone, and it really hits you. You unplug and crank that volume up just a little bit, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I was quite impressed when I tried it that way after I dialed it in with my headphones on, and I was like, wow, that sounds fantastic. And I'm using this 40th anniversary Jazz Master just because it's single coils, and I wanted to give that single coil sound through this amp. And the only other true single coil I have is this one right here. This one. That's an Ibanez AZES 30, and it's got single coils, but they're really hot. And I didn't want anything too hot. And even my Telecasts that I used last time, those are stacked humbuckers, so they're not really truly single coils. Although I probably could have used my wide range humbuckers on the other Squire. But no, we're using this one. Anyway, so just like last week, we're not going to start with a stereo tone. I'm going to just start with the patch already loaded and the effects off, and we're just going to go through and I'll show you what they're set at. So instead of the clean amp this time around, I have it set at crunch, and I have the gain at about 21. You want your amp, if you're using overdrives, slightly overdriven already, just the edge of breakup, having just enough gain to almost get you there. So let's see where we're at. So you can hear it's already kind of chimey. And that's because I got the bass at about 77. The middle over here is at 55, and the treble's at 58. And over here for our presence, we got 62, and we got it set at the vintage cabinet resonance. So there's your panel. I've got it on chain 1. You can play around with that. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but if you want to throw a compressor or something in there, you may want to use chain 2 or 3. Now going over to the boost, we're going to use a blues driver on this just to give it even more glassier and driven sound. So let's turn that on, and I've got the drive set at 33, tone and bottom both at 8, and the effects level at 49. And it's giving us a nice it's got that nice, I love the BD2. It's such a unique and versatile pedal. You can use that pedal from anything from blues to rock to even metal if you wanted to. But the blues drive is a nice, glassy sounding drive. But you can also, if you wanted to, come down here and use the Senta OD, the clone. That also has a nice little glassy sound to it, but let's just go back over to the blues driver because that's what the patch was set up for. Now over on the reverb, I got the reverb jumped a little bit higher this time around. And once I get to the Parametric EQ, you're going to have a significant boost in the level. So I am going to turn the volume down quite a bit before we get there. So over at the reverb, I got spring on here, but you can play around with the different reverbs. I was playing around with it a little bit before. They do all have a slightly different tone, but when I go think of a Fender amplifier, I always think of a spring reverb. So we got the spring reverb off. Let's turn it on. The reverb time is at 3.5 seconds. 133 milliseconds. Like I said, I got it kind of cranked on this one. And I just set these two at flat, the density at 6, and I turned the color down to about 80 instead of 100. I don't know how much of a difference it makes. Let's see. I don't hear any difference whatsoever. But I got the effects level set at 28 and the direct mix at 100. And lastly, well, I got the noise suppressor at 51 because with the crunch and the blues drive, if it's not on, you get that hissing noise. You get that background noise. So that noise suppressor is a very good tool, and I got the threshold set at 51 and the release set at 8. Let's get on our Parametric EQ amp out. Now, you will notice the low gain, I have it bumped up to plus 9 decibels, and my low mid is actually way up to plus 7. And as usual, I got the low cut and the mid frequencies at 40 and 250. And 4 decibels all the way across the board as far as high, mid, high, and the level. And I do have the 1.6 on the high mid frequency, but I did turn this one down just a hair, just like I did on the twin reverb. And let's hear it. And turning it on. And that's it. It was that easy, really. And I had no problem dialing that in. And I don't know if that sounds like a Bassman with a blues driven into it. These headphones are aggravating me. But I think it sounds pretty good. And even if you take the boost off, you still got enough there. It's still a nice, clean, bluesy sound. Let's try one other. Let's try natural overdrive. See how that sounds. Not too bad. I still think the blues drive and that has that nice chimey glassy sound to it that I think. Of course, you can probably hear my strings through the microphone here. Let's add something to it. We don't want to add a flanger. Maybe a phaser. Let's not use that phaser. Let's do the Phase 90E, the Eddie Van Halen phaser, and see how that sounds through it. Slow that speed down. I don't know about all that. It's that's a little weird. Oh, let's try a fuzz. Let's turn off the mod, and let's run a fuzz through it. How about a 60s fuzz and see how that sounds? We might have to dial this in a little bit. Let's add some top end to it and maybe a little bit more drive. I don't know how I feel about that 60s fuzz. It never really does anything for me. Not like if I like a fuzz, I think the Rat is like the best sounding fuzz on here. And it's not really technically not a fuzz, it's a distortion pedal. Yeah, that might take a little dialing in on that one. But hey, where are we at with the blues drive? All right, let's go back over it and maybe let's throw some chorus in here. Can we do some chorus? We got time for chorus? I mean, we could throw a compressor in here. How about a Boss compressor? A little more sustain to it. A little tone, a little level. Ooh, that deadened it, didn't it? Boy, listen. We'd probably have to crank that. Let's try a light compressor. Yeah, you're gonna have to crank the levels if you want a compressor on there. Is a compressor necessary? That boosts it a little bit, but no. Okay, I think we're done playing here. As always, the download for it will be down in the description there. You can download it. This doesn't require a sneaky amp or anything like last time. And just download it and play with it a little bit. Throw some different reverb in there and play with that booster. If you want to throw a regular overdrive in there or turbo overdrive, maybe even the tube screamer. But have fun with it and crank it up and tick off the neighbors. Hit that like button. Maybe even subscribe. We'll see you next time.